Okay, so you're thinking about a career as a wholesale merchant in flowers and plants?
Sounds fragrant.
It does, doesn't it? But let me tell you, after digging into this roll catcher guide, it's way more than just pretty petals and smelling the roses. We're talking serious business
Right.
moves.
This isn't some hobby. This is a fast-paced world with market trends and delicate cargo to handle.
Exactly. It blew me away, honestly, how much goes into it.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got to have like serious people skills too.
Oh, for sure. The guide actually mentioned that 57% of the job is all about communication, like active listening and persuasion.
It's true. You're not just selling flowers, you're selling trust and expertise. You've got to know what your clients need before they even do.
Whoa, that's wild. So it's like being a floral therapist or something.
Exactly. The RoleCatcher guide actually shared this story, right, about this one wholesale merchant. They uh, they anticipated this huge demand for sunflowers.
Sunflowers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based on like early social media trends. They pre-ordered this massive stock, and guess what? By the time everyone else realized it was a thing, they were like the only game in town.
Whoa, that is some serious floral vision right there. Talk about a power move.
Right. So yeah, you got to be business savvy, a trend spotter.
Absolutely. So it's not all sunshine and roses then. What about competition?
Oh, there's definitely competition, make no mistake.
The guide mentioned something about like floral espionage.
Yeah, it's in there. Some merchants, they really keep tabs on their rivals. They even show up at the same industry events just to see who's talking to who and what deals are going down.
Wow, that's intense. Okay, so we've got risk, we've got reward. What about things like seasonal demand? That's got to be tricky, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially for newcomers. The guide really stressed being prepared for those ups and downs.
Right, because having a warehouse full of poinsettias in like June probably isn't ideal.
Exactly. Not ideal at all. But then on the flip side, imagine you're the one who predicts the next big floral craze.
Like, what if 70s houseplants make a huge comeback?
Right. The earning potential in those moments
Mm.
could be massive.
Okay, so big risks, but potentially big rewards too.
That's the name of the game. And speaking of rewards, let's talk about what you can actually earn in this field. Because honestly, the earning potential is one of the most appealing aspects of this career path, according to the guide.
So, okay, we've talked about the excitement, the trends, the competition, but what does a typical day actually look like for a wholesale merchant? Is it more like spreadsheets and phone calls, or are we talking like fields of flowers and bustling marketplaces?
Honestly, it's a bit of both. At least that's the picture RoleCatcher paints.
I like the sound of that. So walk me through it. Like if I'm just starting out in this world, what's on my to-do list?
Well, you'd be doing a ton of market research for sure, learning about, different flower varieties, pricing
Hmm.
trends, all that good stuff.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, and the guide mentioned that a lot of newcomers, they're surprised by how much logistics is involved. Coordinating deliveries, managing inventory, it's a lot.
So there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than people realize. It's not just about having an eye for a pretty flower.
Exactly.
What about when you like move up the ranks? Does the day-to-day change much for a more seasoned wholesale merchant?
Oh, yeah. That's where things get really interesting. The guide talked about how experienced merchants, they're more involved in strategy.
Strategy.
Big time. We're talking about, negotiating major deals, scouting new growers. Some of them are even predicting trends way before they hit the mainstream.
Wow, they sound like floral psychics.
Yeah.
So, based on all this, what kind of person thrives in this kind of role? What are the key ingredients for being a successful wholesale merchant?
Well, according to the guide, you got to be organized, a strong communicator, and definitely comfortable with taking risks.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
They even mentioned a good sense of humor goes a long way, especially when things don't go as planned, which can happen, right? It's the flower business.
Yeah, Mother Nature doesn't always stick to the schedule. So, adaptable, resourceful, basically ready for anything.
Right. Oh, and speaking of being adaptable, the guide shared this great story about a wholesale merchant who had this whole shipment of lilies arrive, right?
Right.
But they were totally wilted.
Oh, no.
Total disaster. Turned out there was a refrigeration malfunction during shipping. But you know what they did?
What did they do?
Instead of panicking, they salvaged what they could of the lilies, turned the rest into these fragrant oils, and ended up creating a whole new product line.
Whoa. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade or lilies into luxury oils, I guess.
Right. So yeah, creativity and quick thinking are definitely key in this business.
Absolutely. Now, for our listeners who are like, okay, I'm sold. How do I become a wholesale merchant? What resources does the guide recommend for, deepening their knowledge and staying ahead of the game.
Well, obviously, hands-on experience is huge. But beyond that, they really stress the importance of just staying informed, subscribing to industry magazines, joining professional associations, even following influential florists and designers on social media.
Like building your own floral masterclass, basically.
Exactly. And I don't know if you agree, but attending trade shows, those have got to be game changers.
No, yeah. For networking and just like seeing what's new and exciting in the floral world.
The guide called those events like a crash course in all things flowers. You meet the growers, see the new products, even rub shoulders with the top wholesale merchants in the biz.
Okay, so let's say you've done your homework, read the guide, honed your skills, you're ready to land that dream job. What tips does RoleCatcher offer for like totally acing the interview process?
Well, they said one of the biggest things is just showcasing your passion.
Yeah, passion always wins.
Don't be afraid to geek out a little. Talk
Oh.
about your favorite flower varieties or, your knowledge of market trends. Yep. Let them see your enthusiasm.
So it's not just about reciting your resume, you've got to let your personality bloom.
Exactly. Oh, and they also suggested having some specific examples ready that really highlight your skills.
Okay, like,
Maybe you successfully negotiated a tough deal with the supplier or salvaged a shipment of damaged flowers, kind of like that Lily story.
it's like having a floral portfolio of all your greatest hits.
Exactly.
Speaking of portfolios, the guide didn't really go in depth on specializations within this field, but I'm curious to hear your take. Like, what could those look like?
It's true. They kept it pretty broad, but I think that kind of speaks to the diverse possibilities within this career path.
Oh, absolutely.
For example, you could become the go-to person for rare and exotic blooms, catering to, high-end event planners or something.
Ooh, fancy.
Right. Or you could focus on sustainable, locally grown flowers, tapping into that whole market.
It's like becoming a floral sommelier with
Uh,
expertise in a particular region or growing practice.
Love that analogy. And yeah, with all the focus on, eco-conscious choices these days,
Yeah.
specializing in sustainable floristry, that could be a real game changer.
Totally. So it's all about finding your niche, what speaks to you, what you're good at, that kind of thing.
Exactly. The guide even mentioned how some wholesale merchants, they use their expertise to eventually launch their own businesses.
Certainly.
Yeah, supplying specific types of flowers or catering to a niche clientele.
So from negotiating deals to building your own floral empire, the possibilities are endless.
They really are. But with all these possibilities, the guide also highlighted something really important. It's the idea of continuous learning and development.
So it's not like learn it once and you're done. You've got to keep evolving.
100%. The industry's always changing, new trends, new tech.
Yeah.
You've got to keep up.
Speaking of tech, the guide talked about how online marketplaces are changing the game for wholesale merchants.
It's true. It's not just about, face-to-face deals anymore. Some merchants are even using data analytics to predict what's going to be hot and automate their buying.
Whoa, data-driven daisies, that's next level.
It is. And that's why, even if you think you've made it, finding a mentor can be huge. The guide really emphasized that.
Oh yeah, like having a floral guru in your corner.
Totally. Someone who's been there, done that, and can help you navigate those inevitable challenges that come up.
Because there are always challenges, no matter what.
Always. And the guide actually told this story about a wholesale merchant, really successful now, and they credit their success to their mentor, who taught them all about building those genuine relationships with growers.
Which you can't learn that from a textbook, right?
Exactly. It's about more than just, placing orders and negotiating prices. It's about connection and trust.
And that's a good reminder for any career, honestly.
So true. And I think that's a perfect note to wrap things up on.
I think so too. So there you have it. We've explored the ins and outs of being a wholesale merchant in flowers and plants.
A surprisingly dynamic career path.
It really is. From market trends to mentorship and, of course, those gorgeous flowers, it's a field with a lot to offer.
Absolutely.
And to all our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive insightful. Remember, a little passion can go a long way no matter what you're doing. Until next time.